common question I like to ask when I teach the Bible is, how did they feel? How did they feel? The people in this story, and I found it helps the Bible story kind of come to life, and it shortens that 2,000 or 3,000 year old gap between us and the story. How did they feel? How did, for example, the people feel as they listened to Jesus teach? What was it like to listen to Jesus teach? And how is that different than listening to your average Sunday school class or your average small group Bible study? How did it feel to listen to Jesus teach? Well, here's a verse that speaks to this. Matthew 7:28. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed. They sat there awestruck. And I want to encourage you and challenge you to be the kind of person that people will be amazed, awestruck by your teaching. Another question I'd like to ask you about how did they feel, a question you can use often in your teaching is, how did Paul feel about his teaching? How did Paul feel about the task of teaching? As he thought about presenting the message, how did Paul feel about it? And what can we learn from that about how to be a disciple-making Bible teacher? Here's our verse, Galatians 4:19 and 20. My dear children, for whom I am again in the pains of childbirth. How did Paul feel? He said, I am in the pains of childbirth until Christ is formed in you. Until you become like Jesus, it just aches in my bones. How I wish I could be with you. We'll get to that in another session. But he says here, how I wish I could be with you now, and change my tone because I am perplexed about you. But I draw your attention to that first phrase, for whom I am again in the pains of childbirth until Christ is formed in you. And the big idea is this. Never try to teach without a burden. Never try to teach without this fire in you that says, I am in pain until you get this message. Psalm 39:3 says, my heart grew hot within me. And effective disciple-making Bible teachers feel this way. My heart grew hot within me. While I meditated, the fire burned. Then I spoke with my tongue. And I want to say to you, teacher, never teach without a passion. Never teach without a burden. Never teach without the fire growing hot within you. As the psalmist says here, Jeremiah said, but if I say, I will not mention his word, I will not speak any more in his name. His word is in me like a fire. A fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. And I want to encourage you to be a disciple-making teacher whose fire is shut up in your bones. Luke 24:32 says, they ask each other, were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and he opened the scriptures to us? And before you would teach your people, you need to let the word of God burn within you like a fire. Job 32:18 through 20, for I am full of words and the spirit within me compels me. Inside I am like a bottled up wine, like new wineskins ready to burst. If you want to be a disciple-making teacher, you just need to be ready to burst. I must speak and find relief. I must open my lips and reply. And that is the first step to you being a disciple-making, effective Bible teacher. And if you found this teaching helpful, I'd like to ask you a favor. Could you do me a favor? And that is to like this video. It'll help other people to find it. Subscribe to this channel. It'll help other people to find it. And share this video on Facebook or other media.